What's going on? Welcome to part 2 of my WRX speaker upgrade guide. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to install an aftermarket speaker in the WRX. In part 1, I went over everything you should consider when choosing a speaker, so be sure to check out that video for a complete picture of what I will cover today. So the OEM kicker upgrade to this car right here, you can get it anywhere from like $160 to $200, something like that as of right now, prices right now. That's actually not too bad of a price for these speakers. They actually do perform pretty well. I've been happy with them for a couple of years, and you cannot beat the convenience of having a speaker that's literally plug and play. You're not gonna get that with an aftermarket speaker. So here I have a couple things that you're gonna need to make the aftermarket speaker a little bit more like the OEM kicker upgrade. So that's an expense that you're gonna have to take into consideration. This right here is just foam tape, okay? And I'll show you why you need that in a second. But this will allow me to install the aftermarket speaker onto the stereo without actually having to splice into factory wires. So you'll have to get one of these, and they come in a set of 2, and they're pretty cheap. And you also have to get one of these, which is a bracket to make the speaker fit in the opening of the door like it's supposed to. So the bracket, you can see it right there that it's angled. The speaker itself comes with some brackets, but it's not gonna be good enough for the car because the opening for the 6.5-inch speaker in the car is actually pretty recessed from the actual door panel. So you need something like this to push the speaker up more towards the door panel and to actually angle the speaker upwards so that it's pointing towards the listener. So you need something like this, and of course your speaker will go in like that. And then before you install the speaker, you take this tape and you put it all the way around the speaker right here. That prevents plastic on plastic. There's another thing that you may notice right here, which is the foam on the outside of the speaker. That's another expense that I recommend, and that's a speaker ring kit. There's several varieties out there, but they all work basically the same. You'll have one ring that'll go around the speaker, just like these right here. You'll have another ring that'll go behind the speaker right here so that you can mount it against the panel on the door, and you have another piece that'll go against the metal behind the magnet of the speaker, and that's going to ensure that your acoustic energy is leaving where it's supposed to, that you don't have wave cancellation, and it's going to ensure that you can absolutely get the most out of the SoundSkin's installation. Because this is a universal speaker, of course, you're going to have this bracket that comes with it. It's going to allow you to mount it in different configurations depending on what car you have. For the WRX, we don't need this one right here. All we need is this speaker bracket right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this foam tape around the circumference of the speaker. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the speaker and actually put it in there. But the speaker is actually not going to fit because these little clips right here get in the way. So those are made to break off because these are universal. These are not just used on the WRX. They can be used in other models. So they add these little tabs so that you can install smaller speakers in here or bigger speakers. So all you need to do is snap those right off. Once you do that, you'll have no problem putting the speaker right on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to align the 4 screw holes with 4 of the mounting holes on the bracket. So once you do one, you can align it easily. I actually want this to be near the bottom, so I'm going to rotate it. There we go. Once you have it exactly where you want it, then you can go ahead and put the other screws in. These screws right here came with the speakers. They're in the hardware kit of the speaker. Once you're satisfied they're tight, you flip it over. You're gonna notice that some of the screws are actually protruding quite a bit. So that's not gonna work. The speakers didn't come with smaller screws, so I just used those anyways. If that happens to you, then all you have to do is grab yourself some of these diagonal cutters and just cut the screws off. So I'm not gonna worry about putting foam around this because this is gonna actually go over the sound skins, and the sound skins already decouples that from the metal. So the next step is just to plug in the wire cable to it. You don't have to worry about which is which because one is big and one is small, and these come keyed to it. So what you have to do is match the size. There we go. So you may have noticed that the OEM kicker upgrade has the cable already on the outside of the speaker like this. Obviously, it's because the cable on the car is actually on the outside also. So it needs to be like that. The speaker brackets that I got did not have that access hole because, again, these are universal and meant to be used on different types of cars. So they didn't have that access hole. Luckily, it's pretty easy to do. So all I did was I used a drill, and I drilled a access hole right on the side, roughly in the same spot that the OEM kicker upgrade had it. So now the cable can just sit right here just like this, and it doesn't have to be pinched on the outside like that. It might be something that you want to do before you even put the speaker in there. Alright, so it's time to install the speaker. So obviously you can see that I have some sound deadening stuff on this door. I recently did this installation. This is sound skins right here. The difference is night and day. This is hands down the best interior mod that you can do for a car like this. A car that's loud, that has a lot of rattles. I mean, this completely changed the characteristics of the music inside the car, and the mids are so much better with this. So if you don't have this, consider doing something like this to your car. I have a whole video, and also in that video I show you how to remove the door panel and the speakers. So if you don't know how to do that, in that video, and I'll link to it in the video description so you know how to do that. But if you don't have the sound skins or any door treatment, obviously this is going to be metal right here. If you're down to the metal right there, you do have to put in some sort of decoupling from the plastic right here behind the adapter to the metal right here. So some of that foam tape that I showed you earlier will do the job. I'm not going to do that because obviously I have the sound skins on there, and the sound skins is butyl and closed cell foam, so it's already doing that decoupling for me. So my speaker is just going to go right on there. So I'm going to utilize that little hole that I made for the cable, put the cable there, and I'm going to line up the speaker like this. Now here's the important thing. The speaker is going to sit just like this. If you notice, this side is very narrow and this side right here is pretty wide. And the reason that is obviously so that the speaker faces more towards the listener and less towards your feet. So make sure that you keep that in mind when you install the speaker. Also, if you're installing a speaker like this one where you can angle the tweeter upward towards the listener, because high frequencies are very directional unlike very low frequencies. So you'll definitely be able to hear better if they're pointed toward you. Do that like that, and that should be good. And you can go ahead and use the same screws that came with your stock speakers. And of course you can just plug in your speaker. Alright, so if you don't have sound skins like I do right here, this plastic piece will sit right here on top, and you can create a rattle between the plastic piece and the metal right there. So make sure you wrap this connector right here with foam tape so that it doesn't rattle. Now we no longer have a rattle point. I've gotten to the point where I need to tell you something very important. The speaker adapter kit that I got, and I don't know if there's others or not, but this is definitely one that most people get. This speaker adapter kit right here actually has the same adapter, the same exact adapter for the left and the right. Obviously, if it's angled like this, you cannot have the same adapter to the left and right because the screws are not going to align. So if you actually align these screws are not equidistant. These are actually offset a little bit. The actual adapter is only going to fit one way. So if you fit this adapter on the left side, the driver's side, the way that it's supposed to sit, just like this, with the speaker holes aligned to the speaker, you're going to actually have the speaker facing the wrong direction. I'm not sure what gives here. I thought that I got a bad kit. Then I went online, did some research. Other people had the same issue. But the fact of the matter is that that's how you're going to get it if you order this one. So when you align it so that it's facing exactly like I have it right now, one of your speaker holes is not going to align with a bracket. You're going to have to drill a pilot hole for a screw. So you might have to get a coarse screw and then drill a hole right where the bracket would go, and you can drill a small hole right into your metal right there and then secure the bracket through that hole. I came across that problem and I wasn't recording. There's not really much to show. All that you're going to see is that the hole, it's actually this one right here. It's not going to align with the bracket if you angle it right, just like this is right here. So that hole is not going to align with the bracket. So all you have to do is right in the middle of the bracket right there, drill a pilot hole and then use a coarse screw to secure the bracket in place. Really not a big deal at all. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to put all this stuff back together and configure these speakers with my sound system and really put them through the paces so that I can do an unboxing and review video. So if you're interested in these speakers and my thoughts on it, make sure you watch that unboxing and review video. If not, that's fine. I hope you learned something in this video about replacing your speakers with an aftermarket speaker or even the kicker upgrade. If you want the kicker speaker upgrade, you know, I still maintain that it's really good for most people. I'll link to that video in the video description of this video. And again, I'm going to really recommend this installation for this right here, because this makes all the difference in your mids, which is what prompted me to get this aftermarket speaker right here. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, take care.